This tutorial is about the validation step. So we start by going to ARCGIS.com in our web browser, and you will see the name Joseph Conrad. That's our name for this particular owner, and you want to click on My Content. When you're on My Content, click on Validation Map for ONS. Here's the description of the map, and to open it, we click on the Open button, and you're going to choose to open in ARCGIS.com Map Viewer. The Map Viewer has three main sections to it. First is the menu bar up top. We have Details, Add, Edit, Base Map, Save, Share, Print, Measure, and Bookmarks. And the second thing is the Table of Contents, which is on the left-hand side here, and it has three button tabs on it: the first, the second, and the third. And you want to be on the second one to start. And of course the third component of this is the map view itself, which is on the right-hand side. Inside the Table of Contents, when we're on the second button tab, we have the individual layers. They can be turned on or off. We can zoom to an entire layer by right-clicking, or by clicking to the right of the layer name, and you'll see the little arrow pop up and you can say Zoom To. So whenever your mouse is over a layer, you can click and say Zoom To. And that zooms to the extent of all the points that need validation within that layer. We can turn a layer on or off by clicking on the little check marks. So you only need to have the layer on that you're going to work with, and we'll start with the defibrillator layer here. Next, we make sure that we have the editing enabled. So we click on Enable Editing with a little button on the right hand side. Next, we want to go to Symbology to change symbols, and in here you make it look like this. You choose Unique Symbols, and you always choose the Valid field right here. So that's the column. And choose Colors, and you can then change the symbols for 1 and 0. 1s mean that the point has been validated. 0 and that color mean it needs validation. So for example, I can click on that symbol and then change symbol, and I can then choose a particular symbol type for ones that need validation. So I could, or that have been validated, so I can click, for example, red, and I click Apply, Done, and OK. And then for ones that need validation, you can click on those, change symbol, and choose a different color symbol for those ones. Let's say like green. And I click Done, and OK. And they'll change on the map, and then I click Done Changing Symbols at the bottom. And that brings me back to my layer. So to start the validation now, I'll click on Show Table. So I click on, again, the little arrow to the right and Show Table. Each row in the table corresponds to a single point. And if I click on a row, you'll see the point becomes highlighted on the map. So here's a point, for example, that needs validation. So I'll now zoom into that point by zooming in on the map. I'm just using my mouse wheel to do that right now, and I'm just zooming in here. And if I zoom in too far, it'll say can't see anything, so I just zoom out a little bit till I can see the image. I could also zoom in this way with the zoom bar. So I want to edit this point here, so I'm going to click on it, and then I'm going to click on Edit. So now I'm in edit mode for that point. So I'm going to select that point here by clicking on it. Sometimes that doesn't work, so I'll just click off the edit mode, go back to it, make sure that editing is enabled. It is. I'll show the table, and I'll select that point again, which was the third row here, and then I'll click on it like so. Okay, this time it came up. Sometimes that happens and I just scroll down. I want to see where this is, so that's Terry Fox Drive, and the street number under address here is 580. So that's for that particular location. And so I'm going to now go to Google Maps and type in that address so I can see the street view. So 580 Terry Fox Drive. Click on the map that comes up, and then I'll bring the little Bonum over to where it's placed the location here to see if I can see that. Lo and behold, it's right there. I think that's a city sign, so I'll just zoom into that particular sign. Try and get a better look at that. Looks like a City of Ottawa sign. Yes, it is. I can kind of see there that's Canada Client Services Center. So that's the building right here. I'll just close the street view so I can see that again from the map, and I'll zoom in. And that's that squarish building there, so that means I can go back now to my map, and I'll click on Edit for that point. So just in the little pop-up box that comes up, when I click on that, I can click Edit, is there as well, to edit that point, and then I can drag that point over to that building. Once I've done that, I click off the edit mode, and if my table of contents disappears, I just click on that again and I can see it. Once I've edited that point, I click Save. And I also want to change the value of the valid field from 0 to 1 here, so I'll go back and I'll edit that again. Bring me back here, and I can go from 0 to 1 so that it changes color to red, meaning it's been edited. I can then close that, save again, click off my edit button here, go back to the table of contents, open the table, show table, and I can go then, now that's red, I can go to the next one. So that was my third row. I'll click on the fourth one here, and I'll zoom to that location, zoom to selection. So that's my next one that needs editing, and I would do the same thing. I would click on that, up comes this, I can find the street, Victoria Street, and the address 8243. I go to Google, do the same thing, and edit that point, move it to where it's supposed to be, change the valid field to 1, and save, and then go to the next row. And I just keep repeating that until all the points are read and validated. And I can then zoom back out to my whole layer, and I can see which ones have been validated so far, because those are the ones that are red, where the valid field was changed to 1. When I'm finished, I click Save, if I'm finished that for the day or whatever, and then I can just sign out. And that's all there is to the editing and validation.